Jesus humbled himself and became obedient unto death. He referred to himself a humble of heart. He urged his disciples to be the same and encouraged them by his example of mildness and humility. He took upon himself the ultimate humiliation of death. All his activities are marked by humility. The desire of her mother Foundress to follow in the footsteps of her master for heroic charity led her to excel in virtue of humility to the extent of her being disposed of her post of superior general. Even at this moment of this ultimate humility, she was heroic and accepted refusal and contempt cheerfully, looking at it as the supernatural means for the personal sanctification. In the same way, when we are humiliated, we should take it in a positive way, as Jesus and Mother Foundress did, and go ahead in our life.
To be contradicted. Jesus Christ, who was spoken the truth, attacked and killed, is a sign of contradiction. Every daughter of the Sacred Heart, when met with humiliation in her apostolate, is further encouraged by her foundress in her own words. We are passing through a time of trial, which in itself is a sign of the love of the Sacred Heart of Jesus for us. Over generosity of our foundress was contradicted by her own sisters. Mother Maria Teresa was put aside by her own sisters. Some of her sisters tried to put her down by exaggerating in their false report on her administration. As we reflect on this beatitude, it gives us a chance to learn, accept contradiction, and grow gracefully out of it. The Lord too was defamed, those who were against him and spoke evil of him. And he was God, so take courage.
To be punished. Jesus was punished though he was innocent and was condemned to an ignominious death for his act of love and miracles. As I look into the life of our Mother Foundress, she was very loving, affectionate, and charitable to an extent of foregoing her own needs and the needs of the community. The sisters accused Mother Maria Teresa Nuzzo of failing to build up the congregation on sound economic foundation. They highly criticized and overemphasized the problems. Our mother was replaced like an innocent lamb led to the slaughterhouse. She obeyed the order bestowed upon her and sacrificed her life in silence and solitude. May we too be inspired by her and accept such moments happily.
Is there anyone who likes to be scolded for doing good? Here I am to share my reflection on to be scolded. What an extraordinary person our loving Mother Foundress Maria Teresa Nuzzo was. She was scolded and criticized by her own sisters. She suffered grievous calumnies and accusations. She accepted all these in order to imitate her crucified Christ, especially the most painful blow. Saints are who do ordinary things in an extraordinary way. The meek and humble will be rewarded one day. We can proudly follow her example and become a true daughter of the Sacred Heart. To be rejected is the fifth beatitudes of our Mother Foundress. Rejection is the fact of life. Rejection sometimes is not a one-time affair. We hear in the Gospel of St. Mark 6:4, a prophet is without honor except in his homeland and in own household. As Jesus was rejected by his own people, Mother Foundress was put aside by her own sisters. Though she was removed from her office,
Still, she had the same love for her sisters. Mother Foundress liked to meet the young novices and instruct them on religious life, the value of patience, about the life of saints, and the way they practiced their virtues. She was objected not to meet them again. Mother's holy, simple, and humble life had made great impact on the lives of her spiritual daughters as well as people of her time. She practiced and lived the theological and moral virtues in a heroic way. In every walks of her life, she believed in the providence of God. Her faith was strengthened when she had to face the most troubles, difficulties, and rejections with joyfully. Therefore, the right approach to rejection is to keep a positive attitude and frame of mind. Do not keep your eyes on the closed door. Other opportunities will come. Let me encourage you by saying that whatever rejection you face from others, there is someone who accepts you the way you are right now. Therefore, we always have a friend in Him when we are rejected.
The stone which was rejected by the builder has become the cornerstone. As I observe any building's cornerstone, it plays a vital role. Without it, the building cannot stand erect or straight or protect the building. In the same way, our foundress Mother Maria Teresa Nuzzo was forgotten. Less importance was given. Not wanted by our own sisters. They also stood against her. Her work of mercy was not recognized by them. Though she was criticized by them, she did not deter till the end, did what was good and worked for the congregation. The foundation that was laid in pain and rejection is seeing its glory these days across the globe. Here I compare her suffering to few things which will enlighten us. A seed that is buried in the ground and forgotten does not stay there, but it breaks all boundaries and rises above the earth. It grows, branches out, shelters, and feeds many. In the same way, the river that flows majestically along various paths, whether it is a highest mountain or under the bridge, unnoticed it flows and does good to the people along the bank, and those who use it get the best benefit out of it. Similarly, our foundress Mother Maria Teresa Nuzzo had a glorious days. She was the head of the congregation, and days there were painful moments. But because of her courage and endurance, today we are here. We may be forgotten, not praised, but always do good to others, as the river, as the seed, and as the cornerstone. Let us always do good to others as we rejoice at the marvelous work of our Creator through our Mother Foundress. Let us always think.
One of the 8 beatitudes of our Mother Foundress, Mother Maria Teresa Nuzzo, is to be considered last in everything. As a human person, to consider oneself last in everything is not that easy. One needs to break oneself and come out of one's ego. We need to give up to others' ideas and think that they are better than mine. In our day-to-day life, what do? We try to take the first place, want to have name and fame of my own. We seek self-identity, to be recognized and talked about me by everyone. But Jesus in the Bible Matthew 20:16 says, "Those who are first will be last, and the last first." Most probably, our Mother Foundress might have been inspired by this passage when she said, "Consider yourself last in everything, particularly in your community, so that those who are humble will be exalted, and those who are exalted will be humbled." For God, all of us are same, and according to our Mother Foundress, we don't have to be somebody special. So, dear sisters, when you think you are nothing and nobody, let us look up to our Mother Foundress, who always took the last place in everything, underwent rejection, suffering, and humiliation. Thus, the fruit of it is enjoyed by all of us, her dear daughters. As we celebrate the centenary year of our dear Mother Foundress's entry into heaven, may Jesus' name be praised through all our ministries. I have taken for my reflection from Mother Foundress beatitudes. One among them is being abandoned. Matthew chapter 27 verses 47. My God, why have you forsaken me?" In that crucial moment, Jesus experienced that his Father has abandoned him. In the same way, our Foundress Mother Maria Teresa Nuzzo experienced when she was dethroned from her post as a general and was replaced by Mother Nastrena Gowder from the congregation of Franciscan Tertiary Sisters. Our Foundress was sent to Zaytun Convent. Though it was very throbbing moment, she accepted it with all her humility, seeing the will of God in her life. She, in a heroic tone, faced them saying, "I cannot abandon God now at a time when He is permitting me to purify myself through fire." In spite of her shattered life, she tried to console her sisters and did her best to obey the order. Our Foundress advises her spiritual daughters to remain faithful to our call in spite of all hurdles and sufferings when we are abandoned or neglected. She humbly asks her followers to cling on to Jesus at the time of suffering when we are cast aside by our community members or in our ministry. God will never abandon us. As God says in the book of Isaiah, even if a mother forgets her sucking child, He will never abandon us or forget us. As a rose blooms in the midst of thorns and spreads its fragrance, our Foundress lived her life in the midst of suffering and spread her fragrance of love and joy to all her spiritual daughters.